respective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs, welcome to your twin flame read for, well, timestamp January 2020. Happy New Year. If you're watching this after the New Year, I'm doing these still in 2019, but really timeless. These are timeless reads. I'm finding all of this relationship stuff. People find it when they're needing to find it, so that's why I made it that way. Cool. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional, intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions, and very, very honored to be doing these readings for you today. I actually did a video yesterday about these particular reads and the twin flame reads for the remainder of 2020. I've had some revelations about the twin flames in my own personal life, and so if you want to have a go have a look at that video. It's the first link underneath the basic description for this video. It's really about the new defining of the soul contract known as twin flame. So go have a look at that. There's also another video I did on there, down there, clarifying twin flame, soulmates, and true lovers, as well as the inspiration for the redefinition, a video by a spiritual teacher by the name of Matt KAHN, right? Soul contracts. It's called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined. That is in the description box below. Go check those out, please, because it'll make this reading make more sense, and I think you'll like the redefinition, because soulmates and twin flames have been conflated for so long. They're not the same thing. They're both soul contracts, but two very different kinds. Particularly the twin flame contract. The foundation of the contract is that you teach each other how to love yourselves and how to heal yourselves, right? Where soulmates, you help each other heal. This, you teach each other how to heal yourselves, because by contract, you can't give each other what you want. You can only give each other what you need, which is often cold comfort. So go have a look at that. Your twin flames are your turbulent, tumultuous, tricky, transformative. They're all about helping you transform and are absolutely essential to help you heal, to be the soulmate, right? Be a person who is ready to be not just a mate to your own soul, but then in a soulmate contract. And by the way, you have twin flame and soulmate contracts of many different forms in every lifetime, right? So not just the romantic sexual, but we see what shows up in these twin flame readings. You'll see I cover it in the other vids, as well as I think Matt KAHN does such a brilliant job. He's the one that really clarified the terms for me. So that being said, let's get down to business. Please do like and subscribe. I'm shooting for my 1,000 plus subscribers so I can do super live chat, promising to do drunk tarot at least once a month for a couple months. We'll see how that goes for entertainment purposes only, but I have a video on that down there as well. We are going to be doing divine masculine, divine feminine for these reads. So one side will be divine feminine, one side will be divine masculine, just as a way of portraying two different parties in a contract, right? Not talking about bodily gender in any way, shape, or form. It's about energetic dynamic. I always say I would much prefer to say divine yin and divine yang, but a lot of people don't get that language. I get that language. I study Taoism and I love Taoism, so, you know, I prefer the Eastern language most of the time. But, you know, have at it. I totally consider myself a divine feminine predominant, but then again, you know, you put me with different people, my divine masculine becomes dominant, so it's all that balance, right? Different people bring out different energies within us, I guess is a good way to say it. Archetypal alchemy, etc. So you may find yourself identified with one or the other in the spread, but also know in twin flames, because you are twins, you can often be mirroring each other, so you may be able to get information on both sides. Just keep that in mind. These are general reads, so please do check your other signs. Oh, I forgot to say that for Pisces. Usually Pisceans are pretty cool with that. So not everything's going to fit for everybody. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for the relationship reads. And my kitty cats are so glad to have me back. I did go away for a week. So they have been on, I would say, like white on rice, except for black cats. So they have just been on me, like darkness at midnight on dark moon, whatever. So what else? I think that's about it. Please remember to breathe as we do this. Anything else that needs to pop up is going to pop up. The more you are conscious about breathing and being in the present moment, as I am doing my best to, the clearer the energy comes through me, and plus we're both tuning to the present moment where all the answers are, even though obviously I'm recording this in a different time and sitting in a different location than you are. Cool, cool. Have a nice deep breath. Let's breathe, my Aquarians. Here we go. We're going to start with 2 Caroline Myss archetype cards. All the decks I read are in the very bottom of the description box below. So I call upon my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. 1 card, please, to represent the divine feminine in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. Time stamped January 2020, but timeless. 1 for the divine feminine. And while we are here, please, my collective pantheons, 1 for the divine masculine in this Aquarian contract. Lovely. Oops. Threw a card across the table. You go back there. All right, let's see who we're dealing with. Now, remember, you can identify with both. Everybody has access to all the different archetypes through the collective unconscious, but you'll know it's yours by how it feels in the body. So it goes like repulsion of the shadow, because it's shadow and light in each card. Then have a look at it, obviously. You'll know who we got here. Well. Talk about a turbulent fucking twin flame couple. The divine feminine has the servant, the healing family of archetypes. The divine masculine, the addict, the wild card family of archetypes. So the servant and the addict, well, we are off to the races, said the Virgo drinking coffee. One of the last few physical addictions I have. Coffee. I quit smoking though, so I'm doing good. We're going to read both of these. Let's look at the divine feminine. Remember, whether you're the Aquarian or the cross watcher, pay attention to how these feel and that you can find yourself in both of them. The shadow attribute. Every archetype is shadow and light. So we start with the shadow. This is what is to be healed, or what you can heal within yourself in this particular twin flame contract. Shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. I see it all the time. I see it particularly in pagans. I see it particularly in people who hate their jobs. But all of that is part of the divine plan, but something to be aware of. Using lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life, is that also using that as an excuse to not move forward in this relationship, either to move the relationship forward to a place where you are willing to heal, love, give yourself what you need, or perhaps move away from the relationship if it is truly toxic. And I will say, I do not care what anybody calls the contract between any 2 people. The moment it becomes physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually abusive, neglectful, codependent, toxic, you're done. Well, maybe not toxic, because every relationship has got to go through its toxicity in order to heal. The normal process. But like physically abused, emotionally abused, mentally abused, neglect, like that kind of toxicity, you're done. Contract canceled anyway. You're beating a dead horse. You're just, the universe is just going to wait for you to get the hell out of it. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. So really it's about knowing when to pick up your bed and walk, just saying. The light attribute, this is what you're shooting for. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Now here's the thing about twin flames. Maybe you do have part of that contract where you are to serve this person in some way. But I have found in the twin flames that I have extricated myself from, in other words, fulfilled my end of the contract, who knows if they have fulfilled their end, I'm one less person they get to abuse or neglect. Just as an example, I will serve you by showing you what true independence looks like. Not codependence, not toxic independence. I will show you what honor, what integrity. I will pick up my bed and walk. I will speak the truth even if you won't. I will show you, not as a fuck you, but I am a teacher and I will teach by example. And by the way, I'm a Virgo. We are the servants of the zodiac. So I can very much delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Maybe not so free, maybe not so loving, maybe sometimes serving out the door, but then certainly this would be about you serving yourself. Remember, this is a twin flame contract. What's the foundation again? They teach you how to love yourself, how to heal yourself, and of course, how to serve yourself. Not to be self-serving in a toxic way, in a narcissistic way, but in a way of, are you pouring out your cup to this person, particularly an addict, very easy to do. I mean, talk about a codependent relationship. The language of codependence started in alcohol and drug addiction. It has since morphed and evolved over the decades, because we're looking like codependence is what, late 70s, early 80s. I just remember Codependent No More, Melody Beattie being around in the 80s. So I don't remember the exact publishing date of that, but that's when I came into contact with it, right? Let's look at this divine masculine addict. In the shadow, compromises integrity and honesty. No, lots of people compromise their integrity and their honesty, but the addict in particular is rather well known for that. Allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit, right? What got me to quit, see, this is how I know I'm not that addictive of a personality. I quit smoking because I had, and I had smoked on and off for many, many years, but this past run was like, I don't know, like maybe 10 years. Half a pack a day for like a really long time, whatever. And I got a sinus infection. Some of you watched me go through it on YouTube, and I was like, fuck it, I can't breathe anymore, done. And I'm pretty cool. I'm a pretty cool non-smoker. Like, I can be at a party and even bum one and not go back to it. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Some external thing allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your spirit. Something outside of yourself, perhaps an addictive thought pattern inside of yourself. An addictive, we can be addicted to self-pity. We can be addicted to all sorts of biochemicals brought about by emotional states. Something to look into. The light that the addict, the divine masculine here, is shooting for helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior both in yourself and other people. Now keep in mind, the addict and the servant in a twin flame relationship, I'm just going to say, codependent patterning most likely. Do the research, regardless of which one you are identifying with, and I could see why somebody wouldn't want to identify with the addict. Do understand everybody has their addictions, but the addict archetype doesn't mean you have to have it lifelong. It just means it's at play, that energy, that soul power. And it is a soul power, because once you learn how to alchemize the addict, whatever addiction you have in yourself from lead to gold, you draw power back into yourself. All archetypes are about empowerment. Cool. What we're going to do now is have a sip of coffee, because that was a mouthful. We're going to pull 3 Daughters of the Moon card to clarify for the Divine Feminine, and we're going to take 3 Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine, but in a timeline, basic, past, present, future. Sorry, I had to move my selenite. That wasn't symmetrical enough for me. Nice deep breath. Oh, my goddesses, here we go. Oh, Athena, I feel you. My goddesses, please, 3 cards, past, present, future, one at a time, for this Divine Feminine Servant in this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Twin Flame contract for January 2020. Timestamp, January 2020, otherwise timeless, please. Past, where has she been in this Twin Flame contract? Present, where is she now in this twin flame contract? Felt that nice and clear. Future, where is she going? This one. Where is she going in this twin flame contract? We're doing them face down. While I'm here, I'm going to do the same thing for the Divine Masculine face down, so we have them all out. My gods. Oh, Heracles, you of the 12 labors, please. 3 cards for this Divine Masculine addict archetype. Please, past, present, future, 3 cards. Where has this Divine Masculine been in this Twin Flame contract? Where is he now in this Twin Flame contract? Where is he headed in this Twin Flame contract? And they just said in my head, keep in mind, the 3rd positions are always mutable. You know, you can change the destinations of those. The Pisces read wasn't so bad, so didn't pop up. Maybe this one will be, who knows. The Divine Feminine, where has she been? Where has this servant been? Interesting. Ace of Blades, right? So think Ace of Swords, often about new communication. This is the card of the Sibyl, which is the Oracle of Delphi, sat on a tripod, huffing fumes from a crack in the wall from an ethylene gas deposit underneath the ground, had visions, sort of did her thing. Somebody else wrote it down, and then I believe another person translated it, right? So about bringing something in, like incarnating a new thought, something from 8th chakra to crown chakra to third eye. Whether or not it's spoken is, a different thing. So it's literally like downloading, right? It's like, it's in the cloud. Okay, now it's in the whatever, the Wi-Fi. Now it's, in the machine. Will it be spoken, right? So a new beginning now for recent past or past relative to this relationship. Makes sense. Something began. So this might be relatively new. This might be a new relationship, or there has been some new communication because it's element of air, new thought, new idea, new perspective. Where is she now? Well, we've got the Empress card, the card of the divine feminine itself, the goddess now, the earth goddess in this case, though often ruled by the Venus, the card of the Empress. Mawu here is definitely more of that earth mother goddess, and do keep in mind Venus rules Taurus, so it is that divine mother, divine feminine deal. Yes, the conglomeration, the amalgamation of the 4 queens of the zodiac. Here we've got a wholeness, and with a card of the servant, this could very much be a mother dynamic going on for the divine feminine. Now, no one's to say that this divine masculine couldn't be a child, literal or otherwise. This need not always be a romantic thing, because every twin flame contract that you have is to help you learn how to heal yourself. So keep that in mind. There is a strong mother dynamic. I can feel that here, and sometimes, that makes sense if someone has a child. Now again, we're not talking gender here. I have maternal instincts towards my past life son Anthony, but I'm not his mother in this life. I didn't raise him. I didn't send him to college. He's free to do whatever he wants. He's going to be 29 years old in 2020. Blessed be, right? But when that dynamic is not a literal child, when it is in a romantic sexual context, it gets toxic fast. So if this is something new, divine feminine, if you're resonating with this servant divine feminine archetype, keep an eye on that, and by all means, mother yourself. Mother the child of your heart. Think of your heart chakra as the inner child and talk to it all day long. Like, you get a day off, spend a day with the kid. If it needs to cry, you let it cry. It needs to laugh, you let it laugh. But when it is in pain, you don't let it text. You don't let it drive the show. That you want the divine adult that you are becoming to merge with the divine child and help each other out in that way. Where is she headed? Interestingly enough, the Taurus card, the Corn Mother, very similar to the card of the Empress, Mawu, in this card. Different culture. This is African, this is Native American. But the Corn Mother, similar to Demeter, the feeding earth. So there is something here about lifelong values. Now, is this Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever? Don't know. That's going to play itself out. Would it indicate another person here? Could. Only you will know that. Feel what resonates in your body. But second house energy is about lifelong values, things that you have valued for a long time. For me, a second house energy is honesty. Why? Because I've been deceived and lied to so often. That honesty for myself, that's what twin flames have taught me. How important it is for me to be honest with myself about how I feel. And of course, being honest with people, but with diplomacy, right? Truth without compassion is brutality. That's one of my lifelong values, like a piece of corn planted that will grow, give forth more corn, but then give more seeds to keep being planted lifelong, right? So something stable, something strong, something healthy is definitely wanted here, and she may be headed in that direction with or without this divine masculine, but definitely the sense of honor, of loyalty. Like, really look into Taurus second house qualities. It's not all about being stubborn, but I get why Taurus is considered a stubborn energy. that fixed but fertile earth so that healthy things can grow there, that someone can be very stubborn about their values. It's like, no, I will not lie, I will not cheat, I will be honest, I will show up on time, I will serve. And that makes sense with the servant archetype, right? Could definitely be. This feels definitely like a first wave divine feminine empath here, right? And can very much be feeling the pain of the addict, and there can be some codependent stuff going on there in terms of trying to make them feel better, trying to make the divine masculine feel better so that the divine feminine's not feeling the pain, which is still manipulative. That's called passive narcissism. There are different types of narcissism. Yes, even the divine feminine empaths have a version of it, even though narcissists usually go for empaths. It's something to look into. Again, Matt KAHN, he's the one who turned me on to that, and, you know, as a kid, it's what you learn to do when you're an empath, right? Because you immediately think that other people's bad feelings and attitudes are their opinion of you, and it's not. And so you people please, right? So we people please. Servant. I'm a Virgo, familiar. Let's have a look at the divine masculine here. Where has he been? Okay, well, Two of Pentacles. Kind of bringing himself into balance, which is kind of nice. Again, no one's to say that this addict is in full-blown addict mode. Could absolutely be in the light side of things or in any process of recovery, healing, walking the healing path, the hero's journey. Look, anybody who's really dealing with their addictions might as well be considered a hero on a hero's journey. And it ain't pretty, right? Because we all have ways of medicating our pain. And we're all in pain, we're barely aware of it, right? A lot of us are in pain, we have no idea we are in pain. It's like running on broken legs, right? So keeping that in mind. That's why people say, why do people lie? Why are people so cruel? Because they're in pain they're not even aware of, and they don't know what to do about it, right? So they have to pass that pain along. And addicts do that. Although many of them can say, well, let me take myself out of the game. Let me dull myself so that my pain is dulled, therefore I'm not hurting other people. It's a spectrum, right? So that thing, that Two of Pentacles, definitely about trying to bring themselves into some sort of physical balance in the recent past. What's going on for him right now? The Ace of Pentacles. Now, in a sense, one could say going from the two to the one that there is a bit of a backslide there. Now, certainly addicts are known to backslide, right? I don't know if that's a slip backwards. I forget the exact term off the top of my head. I'm sure someone will comment. But I think backslide's a pretty good word for it. Backtrack. But also this is a new opportunity, right? If we take this card independent of the two, which is hard to do in a timeline, but this could be, a new opportunity, a new way of doing this, right? Something active, physical, tangible, perhaps a new start. Maybe with the divine feminine here, but might be in life in general. Whereas he headed in this twin flame is the Four of Swords, meditation and contemplation, focus, right? Really bringing the mind into the body, stillness, meditation, like the traditional Four of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot, just sort of, laying back. 3 swords he knows about, 1 he don't, right? Going into the subconscious, introspection. Whew. I'm taking sips of coffee in between each round, apparently. Just so glad I have my legal addiction to play with. All right, now what's going to be very interesting are the next 2 decks that I work with here, one of which is the Matt KAHN Healing Mantra deck, which I love. My little cardboard lightsabers. They're so powerful. So before I pull these, I'm only pulling 2, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. Regardless of who you are in the reading, you can use both mantras. Because the one that, let's say by now you know which one you are, the mantra that comes for you will to help you heal you, purpose of a twin flame contract. The other will be to help you heal you about the other person. In other words, whatever they're triggering you, so you can maybe understand where they're coming from and heal your stuff about them. Because really, twin flames, you can't help each other heal. That's just how it is. I'm telling you, go watch the other vids. I know it's a new definition, and it's, I'm sure, upsetting to people who are really invested in twin flames being, you're true love forever and ever. That's a true love, not a twin flame. Things have to be redefined in spiritual evolution. It just has to be. You know, it's called spiritual evolution. It's a journey. Things have to evolve and be upgraded, right? It's like how many of you still using rotary phones, right? Why wouldn't our spiritual vocabularies need redefining? Cool. All right, so here we go. The Masters. Matt and the Masters, please. He's so damn intuitive, and he probably is informing these readings, and he's probably doing it in his nap time. Nice guy. Never met him. Seems like a really nice kid. And he's not that much younger than me. Here we go. Breathe with me, my aqua lungs. Here we go. My Masters, please. One card in clarity for this divine feminine servant in this. Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign Twin Flame contract, please. A healing mantra to help the divine feminine servant heal. And while we are here, please, one, for the divine masculine addict archetype in this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign Twin Flame contract. Really got a sense of that emotional pain there. So please, one for him. Oh. Well, I don't think we could have more polar opposites here, but I like these a lot. For the Divine Feminine, these cards, I'm going to read from the booklet too. They're a teeny tiny bit in here, but really helpful. One side of the card is the name of the mantra. The other side is the mantra itself. Artwork's really pretty too. The Divine Feminine got Receiving Elation, E-L-A-T-I-O-N. Great card. I am born of infinite joy. I am born of infinite joy. Now keep in mind, mantras need to be repeated. They're not affirmations. They are like codes, verbal codes, that the more you repeat them, it's not so much about trying to prove it or make it happen, but the subconscious absorbs it little by little by little by little until it becomes comfortable, and then you say it and it's just there, right? So it's not like an affirmation. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Affirmations you really do need to tune to emotionally. Mantras not so much. That's why so many of them in other languages, like for example Sanskrit, my favorite chanting mantra language. I know what they mean, but my mind can't run with the thoughts. These are in English, so that might happen. Get his cards. He's so good, right? So I am born of infinite joy, which is the truth. We are the manifestations of infinite joy. The divine dreamed us into being because it wanted to be us so much. That's really how it is. So let's place that one there. And for the divine masculine, I find this interesting. Rewiring the nervous system. Talk about, physiological addictions. I find strength in surviving my traumas. Instead of medicating them, I find strength in surviving my traumas. That's pretty on the nose for the addict archetype in this reading. I find strength in surviving my traumas, rewiring the nervous system. That's pretty heavy duty Judy. Just saying. Oh, now let me read from the cards. I am born of infinite joy. Receiving elation. One moment, please. A lot of R's in this one. Receiving elation. I am born of infinite joy. When elation is received, joy becomes your natural state of being. In elation, you are aligning with the ecstatic nature of the universe to live each moment with renewed passion and purpose. Feeling very Empress in that. Elation helps you enjoy your human journey as it is right now without projecting your fulfillment onto the anticipation of future pending outcomes. This mantra is ideal for increasing the flow of creative inspiration, elevating the immune system, well, that's just a good idea in general, and being more present, like present in the present moment. Excellent. Loving that. Rewiring the nervous system, which should not be that far away. We're already in the W's. Resolving anger is in here. Rewiring the nervous system. I find strength in surviving my traumas. When the nervous system is rewired, you are no longer trapped in the memories of your body. You are the courageous hero or heroine of your present reality, honoring every moment of hardship as the means through which your infinite strength and greatest depth of character is revealed. As you rewire your nervous system, you are no longer responding to life from the vantage point of your painful past, but instead are open to each encounter being more miraculous than the moment before. This mantra is ideal for adjusting to life after loss, healing heartbreak, and becoming more optimistic. Rewiring the nervous system. That's really cool. Nice deep breath. While I turn to my addiction. See, one of the ways through addiction is to be aware of it. Like, I know if I'm going to quit coffee, I'm going to need a few days, because just the biochemical change, right? The headaches and all of that, the detox, right? As caffeine leaves the body, it ain't pretty. And I was prepared to do that for nicotine, but do you think I was going to do caffeine at the same? I may never give up coffee. May never happen. But, you know, there are no fucking warning labels on Starbucks. Maybe there should be, I don't know. All right, we are going to get 3 more cards, and then we'll do the overview. The Whispers of Love, my favorite. Well, I'm going to say my favorite. You don't want to have favorites amongst your oracular systems, but it is really wonderful and delightful. For the voices of the higher selves of all involved. The higher selves, 5th dimensionally above of all involved in the situation. Let's get 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine, and 1 for the contract itself. And then we'll look at the overview, and I'll pop up the picture. Breathe. The higher selves of all involved, please. 1 card for the Divine Feminine Servant archetype in this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, Twin Flame contract, please. 1 for the Divine Feminine, the higher selves of all involved. This one. Please, 1 for the Divine Masculine Addict archetype in this Twin Flame, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign contract, please. Top card. Okay, the Divine Masculine and the higher selves of all involved, please. 1 for the collective, the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract, the Aquarian. The Aquarian contract. Sounds like a movie. Okay. In a time. Divine Feminine, what's she got? Consider your foundation. You are being asked to look at how committed you are to love. What is this? Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, right? What is your commitment to serving with love? Consider your foundation. Look at how committed you are to love. Committed to loving yourself. In order to receive elation, that's self-service, must be done. I am born of infinite joy. B-O-R-N, born of infinite joy, just like the goddess Mawu here giving birth on the back of an elephant. Literally, the baby is more than halfway out. So, and again, the earth mother, the corn mother, right? So this birthing joy. Consider your foundation. How committed are you to love yourself? How committed are you to bringing love to this contract regardless of what happens, right? Particularly with an addict. I love you, but I'm not going to enable you. I'm not going to buy you what you, I'm not going to supply your addiction, but what do you need? How can I serve you as a spirit being to another spirit being? And sometimes that is walking away. Just saying. Only you can know what to do if you are the one dealing, you're the Divine Feminine dealing with the addict. Just saying. There's no one prescription, I hate to use that word, but you know what I mean. There's just not one way of dealing with it. Every situation is a highly individualized curriculum for everyone involved. For the Divine Masculine Addict, have patience. Love is patient and kind always. So particularly with, they're showing me rewiring the nervous system, right? What was that one again? I find strength surviving my traumas. Well, surviving traumas take time, right? Like they're not so much a once and done. That's what painkillers are for, and you're not surviving anything. You're repressing them. Although, let's be clear, painkillers are necessary for certain things, like surgery, right? So that the body can heal and recuperate. But when we're looking at emotional stuff, that's where it really doesn't help. Now, look, I never tell people, come off your meds, right? If you're on prescriptions for, like, whatever, psychiatric, prescribed by a psychiatrist. Stay on your meds. Work yourself off of them through therapy, counseling, spiritual, whatever, if that's a sane, healthy way of doing it. Some people may stay on meds the rest of their lives. Doesn't mean that they're deficient or wrong. If that's part of the divine plan for them, that's part of the divine plan for them. But all of it needs patience. So addict, be patient with yourself. So many times we want to compensate for what we feel are our own lacks and our own wounds by speeding up and doing it faster and working harder. But honestly, the only way through is to be slow and gentle with yourself. I say to my body a lot, I'm 51 years old. I know I don't look it. Part of it is the inner child work. No shit. Not kidding. Rapid wrinkle repair. Neutrogena. Amazing. Just saying. But it is very much, honey, you need time to heal. You heal. Like, even in between readings, sometimes people don't realize not just the reading part of this, the production and the editing. It takes like 3 hours to get this from camera to YouTube, depending on the video, right? And a lot of times the laptop is just processing something. I go nap. Like, as soon as my body's like, I'm like, oh, let's go lay down. 20 minutes, 45 minutes feels so much better. You take your time, body. It's about being kind to yourself. If you're the divine masculine here with that, have patience. The overall twin flame contract. Ready? Ask for help. What is it you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need, and that's for both of you. You're going to have to ask for help. Now, ask your help of the divine. Ask your help of a counselor, a therapist, medical people. I just feel like with the servant and the addict, I would keep it away from the tribal dictate of friends and family, because that's too many opinions and too many attachments. There's something, look, if you have someone that you can rely upon as a confidant, someone who will keep your confidences, that's one thing. Invaluable. People who won't fucking blab your shit around, that's invaluable. You get one of those people. As a friend, as a family member, that's great. But professionals, you pay them for that, right? And even if you cannot pay for it, there are always there are more psychological services and help available to people on planet Earth now more than ever. You can get it through your phone, right? You don't even have to go to an office. There's so many services that, like on an app, you can talk to a therapist, right? So pretty powerful, very, I want to say clicky, not like a clique, but this all these puzzle pieces fit together, and let's do that in the overview right now. Please join with me in a nice, big, chunky Aquarian magic clap. Oh, it was a good one. We start with the divine feminine servant archetype, the shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life, or maybe move forward or out of this twin flame contract. The light attribute, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, and as it would be in a twin flame contract, so important that she find that for herself, right? The serving of herself, her spirit, her path, her soul. The past, present, future here looks really good and really solid in a maternal way. In the past, we've got the Ace of Blades, the Sibyl, a new idea, new communication coming through, a new download, bringing her into the present moment of the Empress, giving birth, and looking at that card of elation, I am born of infinite joy. That really feels like that is ripe. Like that now is a good time to be working, the present moment, really good time to be working that elation, at least on the timeline as in pictured here. Moving into the future where she's going, the Mother of Pentacles, the Great Corn Mother, the Taurus, the light values, really feels like moving solidly, firmly into what she values for herself and for her life. Perhaps planting seeds as she goes, but planting seeds in sturdy, grounded, firm, fertile soil. Jumping over to the her Whisper of Love Oracle. Consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are to love, considering she wants to receive elation. I am born of infinite joy. Definitely needs that sense of value, sense of worth, sense of stability, almost like the nervous system has to be stabilized in order to hold the frequency of that joy and elation. Looking at, now I see the addict could be very codependently addicted to the servant in that if this is something so stable in her, the sort of maternal, divine feminine joy, like mother joy, divine mother joy, that could be one side of the addiction, but then the codependency of the servant, divine feminine, wanting to serve the addict, that could really go both ways here. And keep in mind, twin flame contracts are sort of famous for being addictive compulsive. They just are. In the new definition, let's look at the divine masculine archetype of the addict. Shadow attribute: compromises integrity and honesty, never great in any relationship, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. And any addictive pattern, and there seem to be new ones appearing day by day. Now we have phone addiction. Okay, great. It's all about medicating, repressing, usually emotional pain, but that's quite a large, what do they call that? Painting with a large brush, right? It's way more detailed than that in individuals' lives. The light attribute helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior, both in yourself and others, so that you can be aware of it. Oh, being addictive right now, let me pull back, let me take a deep breath, let me call my sponsor, whatever is needed. In the timeline, starts with the Two of Pentacles, where he has been, so probably some steps of balancing here. This doesn't feel like imbalance, even looking at the card, tuning to it empathically. This feels like, okay, you know, took a couple of steps. Maybe they're in the second step, right, of 12, or in that process of getting themselves back into balance in the relative past. In the present moment, the Ace of Pentacles, again, it could look like a bit of a regression from a 2 to 1 in a timeline past, present, future. But really, in the present moment, it could be a nice solid foundation, like a new solid opportunity, a new fertile seed, like an acorn. You can take a fertile acorn, crack it under your heel, feed it to a squirrel, or you can plant it, and over decades, you will eventually have a tree that yields billions of acorns throughout its life cycle, right? So out of one comes billions, but it does take time, must be worked upon. And where do we move from there is that Four of Swords, where he is headed, that contemplation, that introspection, that internal focus, and of course, rest, right? There's definitely that idea, eyes closed, right? Palms down, not necessarily taking in anything from the outside world, but more of an internal focus. We have the mantra card, speaking of rewiring the nervous system. I find strength in surviving my traumas. And I do feel like that might be what this Ace of Pentacles is about, a new found strength. But the beginning of it still has to be cultivated, still has to be embraced. And then the Four of Swords can be doing that psychological healing. And what matches that with the voices of the higher self? Have patience. Love is patient and kind always. So if you're the divine masculine here, gotta be patient, gotta be loving, gotta be kind. Be kind. Everyone is fighting a hard battle, and that includes you. Be kind to you. Even when others aren't kind, that's because they're fighting a hard battle. Don't add to it. Be kind. Rewind. And what do we have as our outcome here? And boy, does this feel so clarifying. Ask for help. What is it you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need. And that is really makes sense for both the divine feminine servant archetype and the divine masculine addict in this Aquarian Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. So there we have it, my darlings. A very, very intense read, but I have to say I like the new spread. I like the format that this has come out with, and certainly much quicker. Not so much the hour and a half readings that we've done before. And I think really gets to the core of what's going on in this particular twin flame contract, of how you can heal yourselves individually. And by the way, as we heal our hearts, all hearts heal. So you are healing the other person, but through the quantum, not through directly. Let me heal you, right? No. Take your time with this. Heal yourself in that, because we are all one. We all heal, right? So again, if you have not, please watch those other videos. I think it will educate you. It educates me. I watch that Matt Kahn video every 3 or 4 months just to like refresh my mind, because I hear it and I see, because of course in 3-4 months I've gone through so much on my path of true love in terms of relationships. I'm like, oh my God, that was totally a twin flame. Thought it was a soulmate. Rats, right? But now let's either get bitter or get better. Cool. Please do like and subscribe. Please share if you know anybody who needs this. This is kind of an intense one. Perhaps you may want to. But let me give you the blessing. May the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their twin flame contracts. May they heal. May they grow. May they learn what they need to learn to become the mates of their own soul and the soulmate for another in physical form, preparing them for the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise contracts that soulmates truly are, for the well-being of all. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of 2020. I will be back for sure. I'm not stopping anytime soon. So I do thank you for your patronage. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.